Hello guys, another lecture on Introduction to International Relations. Oops. Bretton Woods institutions. So why these institutions existed and still exist? First, in 1930s, there was a great recession in the United States and much of the world, and how countries reacted to this great recession, they imposed tariffs. They thought that protectionism, which is imposing tariffs on foreign trade, will help them to get through this recession. It didn't help. Another aspect is increase in all kind of radicalism in Europe. For instance, fascism in Italy and Germany, and as a consequence, World War II. In 1944, there was a Bretton Woods conference attended by 44 countries in the world, and they decided to create a set of institutions which allow them to avoid economic calamities which happened a decade earlier. Oops, yeah. So what they have created, it's GATT, a General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, and what they have decided at that time, and that United States dollar would be correlated to gold, and other nations will try to fix their currencies, national currencies, to United States dollar. Also, they created International Monetary Fund, and the goal was to provide loans to countries to stabilize local economies in times of crisis. And another thing they have done is that they imposed restrictions on capital. For instance, when you do trade and you need to impose restrictions in terms of speculative capital. When too much capital flowing back and forth very speedily, it makes your financial system less stable. And another system which was created was International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which provided and still provides funding for projects which help countries to further their economic development. And Nixon, United States president in 1970s, he decided to end this link between United States dollar and gold. And as you see from this graph, the main reason was that the price of dollar was going up and the price of gold was not going up so well. So basically there was a gap between dollar and gold, which meant that it was harming US economy. And why would it harm US economy? For instance, if you sell your products abroad and your currency is going up and up, it means that people are less able to buy your products because in the currency in which you sell your product is going up and up. So this was the main reason why Nixon decided to end this link between gold and United States dollar. Oops. A few questions to think about when you do your readings. Which countries benefit most from a fixed exchange rate? Which countries benefited from domestic monetary autonomy? And some other considerations like Western Europe and United States. Which countries have been able to accumulate more production and thus being able to produce more and accumulate more funding from this production. And most important thing, which countries orient their production to domestic consumption, and which countries orient their production to international exports, meaning some countries produce stuff to be able to sell the stuff within their borders, and some countries try to produce stuff to be able to export it and make as much money as possible. For instance, as of now, China is a good example of a country which tries to produce stuff which is marketable abroad and make as much money as possible. One of the basic institutions of Bretton Woods system is International Monetary Fund. And what they do, they contribute to this fund, and countries who are members of this fund, they can borrow money from this fund to combat their local economic problems. And what's important is that when the International Monetary Fund provides loans, it requires conditions and it does it in slices. Conditions, it means that countries which borrow from International Monetary Fund, they have to implement specific economic reforms. Mostly it's market-oriented reforms like free trade, free exchange of capital, all this stuff, and why slices, why money distributed from International Monetary Fund are distributed in small portions, is to make sure that countries who borrow money, they actually implement reforms which they claim they want to implement, because otherwise countries just take money and do nothing. And this is why International Monetary Fund distributes funds in small portions. And that's it. This is short introduction to REMIS.